Hi friends, it's Amy and I'm your sewing teacher. We're here today to talk about more dollar store hacks for your sewing room. Just like last time, I have 15 items that I found at my local dollar store. This dollar store is a Dollarama, and I have found 15 fantastic things that would help with your sewing practice. So stay with me while we look at all of these sewing hacks to make sewing affordable. So the first thing I want to share with you, I actually made a video of last week, and this was to create a project wall for your up and coming projects. This was just to use a blank space in my room, which was behind my door, and it allowed me to have a really great place to put all of the things that I need for each project that's up and coming. So if you look here, all I used were some command strips, hooks, magnetic whiteboard posts, and some produce bags. And this is what I created. If you're interested in taking a look, you can find it in the cards above. Just press the information button. So another thing I wanted to share with you is for any advanced sewist who uses boning or is making corsetry, or they're making hoop skirts, things like that. At the Dollarama, you can use multi-purpose large ties as your boning. And these are the perfect width and they are the perfect density. Next thing I wanted to share, do you know when you make those tubes of fabrics for, say, a spaghetti strap, or if you have something that you want to make but you have to flip it and it's a long skinny tube? Well, the best thing to do for long skinny tubes is to flip it using a straw. So I've been looking forever for a really thick straw. And if you look, these ones are not the normal skinny straws. These are a little bit bigger. But I was lucky enough in our dollar store to find this really great set, reusable set, and it has a really wide straw in it. So I can't wait to make some spaghetti straps for my tank tops and flip them with this. And if you don't already know how to do that, you slide it on the top, and then you take the smaller straw and you stick it down and it pushes it all the way through until it flips. The next thing I wanted to show you was MacTac. Now this is clear vinyl protector. This is found in the stationery section at the Dollarama. This is great for is to laminate your patterns. If you don't want to make a template because maybe it's a garment pattern, but you use that one a lot and you find that the paper starts to fray, you can laminate with this and then you can fold it up and then that pattern lasts forever. Another thing that us sewists talk a lot about on the Facebook boards is we talk about our petals and our petals sliding out from under us. They don't have a lot of grip when you're working on a solid floor. I've looked for all sorts of different ways to fix this. There are people on the boards that suggest putting 2 thick elastics around the foot and that the elastics would stop it from sliding. Some people use the lining from an area rug and they put that on the floor and then that prevents it from moving. Some people will use the dollar store shelf lining, which my dollar store didn't have this time. I did look for it. I found something else. I found a non-slip cutting board, and this non-slip cutting board, I don't know if you can see, there you go, has some grip to it. I could glue 2 of these together and have a grippy side on the bottom and a grippy side on the top, put my foot on it and my foot won't slide, and neither will the bottom piece. How about a keyboard wrist rest? So these keyboard wrist rests, if you haven't seen them before, if you have multiple sewing machines in your room, you might need a longer piece. So this keyboard rest is actually for your wrists so that when you're typing, you don't end up with some tendinitis. So because this also has a non-slip coating on the back of it, I thought it would be really great to just leave this on the floor and put your feet on here and the feet wouldn't move. Just another idea. Now moving on to cutting, I really am always looking for a really good way to cut things. So in my video where I was showing how to make pattern templates, I was using the little pocket utility knives to cut the template. So it's just like a little X-Acto knife that is bigger and you can grip really well. I use this more than just with making my templates. I use this when I'm cutting vinyl. I use it when I'm cutting leather. Anytime I want to have some precise movements, this one is really great to use. I find that it's more substantial than an X-Acto knife. And you get a package of 2 of them. So that was the Westcott pocket utility knife. When I am sewing together things like wallets, I use a nail file. So this nail file has a coarse grit, a medium grit, a fine grit, and a buffing pad on it. And I use this for whenever I'm using vinyl or leather and I need to smooth the edges. I pull out one of these. I find that it's easier to use this than it is to use just a folded up piece of sandpaper. And I like this because it's all in one and I can find all of the different grit that I need in order to finish that project off. Something else that I do when I'm making wallets and bags is that I glue a lot of my pieces together before I sew them together. And that's because I don't want anything to move. So I have a few different things I'm going to show you today that I use for the assembly of bags. So the first one I want to show you is this tape runner. This tape runner is a 2-sided tape runner. It is very easy to use. Your finger actually sits right up on top like that, and you just roll it right onto the fabric. Because it's a thin tape, it doesn't usually gum up my needle, but if you do end up having some adhesive on your needle, just having a little alcohol wipe or some rubbing alcohol on a pad will help you just take that right off of your needle. Another thing that I use is like a fabric glue. I do have multiple fabric glues that I have purchased at places like Michael's and at the leather store. But I found this one and this is E6000. And E6000 is one of the things I use for adding gems and crystals to a figure skating dress or to a bag. And this one is a fabric fuse. Has a little spout, so it's actually pretty good for even distribution. To do a wider amount of gluing, I like to use a tongue scraper, a painter's knife from the dollar store, in order to smear and then make sure that that's on there evenly. Another thing that you can find in the personal hygiene area of the dollar store are these eyebrow and bikini line razors. These are excellent for taking balls off of felted sweaters or off of knitwear or anything that seems to have any extra fluff. You can use these to just shave it off without any damage to the fabric. Another thing that I find indispensable in my sewing room are these little pockets. They list these at the dollar store as planner pockets, but I've also purchased the pockets that go on the back of an iPhone or on the back of a cell phone, you know, the ones that keep the cards nice and close. These I have attached to every single one of my sewing machines. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like. And I put it on the side of the sewing machine, and inside it I put in a gauge ruler, I put in a piece of soap or chalk, I put in a little pair of scissors. I've attached it on the side of my machine like this, and then I put little things in it so that they're handy whenever I need it. Needle, pusher. whatever you use on a regular basis in your sewing practice can just slide into that side pocket and be there whenever you need it. And I know that I did this one last time, but I'm going to do it again because I found a heavy duty magnet at the dollar store, and these magnetic buttons on little stainless steel bowls create a really great gathering place for any of your clips, that your metal clips or your pins. And I have 3 little tables going on. I have the table that I'm sitting at right now. I have my industrial machine to my right, and then behind me I have another desk that I do my sewing and my serging on. And I really need to have multiple bowls. So I'm always making bowls so that I always have places to put my clips and my pins. And it's important to always not have to reach around. So that's all I have to share with you today. Those are the things that I found at the Dollarama while I was shopping this past week. Always keep your eyes peeled. Doesn't matter what store you're at. I think one of my next stops will be at the automotive store. So many people in the comments have mentioned all the things that they've found at the auto store. But thanks so much for joining me today. You never know whose sewing journey this is. It could be my students, it could be my children, it could be mine, but it's definitely your sewing journey. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below. And if you want to subscribe, I put a video out every Sunday. That little bell beside the subscribe button will notify you when a new video goes up. Please comment and tell me where you're from. And if you have any hacks that you use on a regular basis that I haven't mentioned yet, put it in the comments and let me know. Maybe it'll make one of the future episodes. Thanks so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday.